in late 2022, I think it was in September, I had a bit of an accident at home. So I actually severed a tendon in my hand. And it wasn't until I went and had the surgery done on the Monday, thinking that I'm going to be out for 6 weeks. The surgeon, after he stitched me up, he goes, mate, you're going to need 10 to 12 weeks to recover from this. So I gave Ben a call. And he got, this time of year, I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to cover all your clients because everyone's flat out, you know what I mean? But he shot me through 3 or 4 guys' phone numbers and just give them a call. And so there was 4 guys in Geelong. So they're all local franchisees during the busiest time of the year. So basically those guys looked after my entire business for the 3 months while I was off work. And when I was good to go again, they just handed the clients back to me and off I went. So, you know, the whole gym system, the support and the network and everything is really amazing.
So, Stephen, thank you very much for giving us your time today in the Jim's podcast. And every Sunday night, as I was saying before, Jim, who's the CEO and founder of Jim's Group, will send me an email with saying you should speak to this guy or this lady. They've got a great gym story. He suggested you were someone we should speak to. And he mentioned about, I think it was during the lockdowns, it's about flexibility you had with your child with schooling and taking 1 week on and 1 week off. So do you want to just start off first with a bit about during the lockdown, how Jim's Mowing or how you worked your business with your family life?
Yeah, sure. So during the lockdown, I'm a single dad. I have my kids half the time, so week on, week off. So I've got 2 boys, and one at the time was about 6, I believe. So he was too young to leave home by himself and expect that he's got an older brother that's 5 years older than him, but I couldn't really expect him to try and deal with his homeschooling and look after his little fella or his little brother at the same time. So basically, when I had the kids and they were homeschooling, I couldn't work. They weren't allowed to see the grandparents. You couldn't take them there because of the risk with COVID and that sort of stuff. So, I basically, the week I had the boys, I wasn't working. So the following week, when they were with their mum, I just worked flat out, like 10-hour days to make up for the customers. And I was still able to basically service my regular customers. Luckily, it was during winter when it was sort of the off-peak time. I remember thinking to myself, if this had have happened during springtime, I would have been in quite a bit of trouble. But I managed to look after and homeschool the boys when I had them, and then look after the regular customers in my business on the other week, and still keep my head above water, only working 2 weeks out of the month. Yeah, it was amazing to have that flexibility and very rewarding to spend the time with the kids, as frustrating as it was, you know, trying to homeschool them. But I was very thankful to be in the position that I am with gyms and having the flexibility. And it was really good.
It's great to hear. And it was Jim was wrapped when he heard that, because it's really great. We always go on about family business and lifestyle business and stuff, but it's truly a great example of how you were able to fix it around you. Not a lot of people would have that ability to do that. So it's quite amazing to hear that you've been able to do that.
Yeah, no, look, I was extremely grateful, for the position I was in to be able to do that and spend the time with the kids and still keep my head above water, you know, with a single dad with one income and only working, basically half of the year. Yeah, still, made ends meet and kept the customers happy. And so it was really good.
And how long have you been with gyms for, Stephen? How long have you been with gyms?
Just clicked over 10 years, like this week, I think, or next week, yeah.
Because you had your call from Jim last night. Did you know it was Jim calling you, or?
I didn't recognise the number, but I recognised the voice. He said, it's Jim. I was just watching TV on the beanbag again. Sort of definitely wasn't expecting a phone call from Jim, but it was a very nice surprise. And I know he's a busy man, so it was nice of him to, take out some time out of his day and just acknowledge that, one of the, like you said, he had 5,000 franchisees. So that's a lot of people to keep in contact with, look, I remember when I did the training, there was probably 100 guys there, so that's maybe 100 phone calls he's got to make this week if they're all still with gyms. That's a busy time for him, just keeping up with all those people. And it just shows that he's really hands-on with the business. And so it was really nice to have a chat with him.
I'm glad you didn't hang up on him or go, it's not you. And he's had that a few times before. People hang up to him or thought someone was pranking him. He's had that happen a couple of times. So what did you have a chat to me about? Was it just about the business, or how's it been? Or
how things were going, and he sort of brushed on that I've got a good 5-star rating with.
Loves that. Yep.
And said that was really good and that sort of stuff. So to put me in the top percentage of the franchisees or something. So it's really nice to hear that as well.
Absolutely. He's big on the star rating. That's the first thing he looks up with any franchisee when he's communicating via email. So that's well done for you having put that up for 10 years is great.
Yeah, no, thank you. But no, I mean, that's why Jim is where he is, because he's super customer focused, and that's why everyone wants to be on board with Jim. Because and look, it can be hard sometimes when you might think you've been wrong done by or something. A customer complains or something. It doesn't happen very often, but you've got to go back and fix it up or whatever. But luckily for me, that hasn't happened. I think once in maybe 10 years, I've had a bad complaint. So yeah.
Amazing. Well done on that, because I've interviewed a couple of franchisees and similar to yourself, they've been around for a long time, and it's quite amazing how many customers they would have done over the years, and they've got pretty much zero complaints and perfect 5-star records. It's fantastic to hear. I was going to say, Stephen, as well, what were you doing prior to Jim's Mowing anyway?
Well, I worked in retail for quite a few years, and then I left retail. But look, there was no money, no overtime, it was pretty hard going while I was working in retail. My then girlfriend's dad, he was working in a factory. And he said, "Look, come and work here." And there was plenty of overtime, and I was working 60-hour weeks. Having said that, I pretty much paid off my first house.
Oh wow!
Working there in the 10 years that I did, so it was good, but it was long hours and it was hard work, and so I paid off the house, and the opportunity came up to sort of look into. I had a mate that had been doing it for about 15 years, and he goes, "Give it a crack," and so I did, and never look back, you know what I mean? I should have done it a long time before that, but in hindsight, it's I just really glad that I did take the plunge, and because it's a big step, taking a loan out and going out on yourself when you've never done anything like that before. So I'm glad I did.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's more around uncertainty around income, or is it about a lack of self-belief, or what do you think sort of stops people? Because you obviously got the work ethic, 60 hours a week, doing a factory job, great financially, paying off your house within that time, which is awesome achievement. So what do you think it is? Do you think it's just maybe just a bit of a self-confidence thing, or is it just uncertainty about income, or what was it about that probably stopped?
There's no guarantee that it's going to work, I suppose. It was just the uncertainty, I suppose. I suppose with a job, you've got that guaranteed income coming in every week. It may not be the greatest income, but it's there, I suppose. And it was just, I suppose, a small risk. So it's a little bit of a gamble that you're putting on yourself. And look, I knew I was a hard worker, and you're probably not rewarded for your hard work working for someone else as opposed to working for yourself. I get the rewards for the work that I put into the business, and the harder I work, the quicker I get home, I suppose, and then the more I get paid. Whereas when you're working on an hourly rate for someone else, the bloke standing next to you can be doing half as much, but he's on the same money. So you're rewarded for what you do when you work for yourself, I suppose. So. But it was a risk. I'm glad I took it, but I wasn't really 100% sure that it was going to work out. I think some people have said that the first 2 to 3 years will test whether your business is going to work, you know what I mean? So looking back, I was unsure, even in the first couple of years, whether it was going to be sort of I was going to have the longevity to sort of keep going, but I enjoyed what I was doing, and the customer feedback was good, and I'm still here 10 years later. So,
and how's your franchisor been? You were telling me before, a bit of unique connection with your franchisor.
Well, Ben, I have known Ben for a long, long time, and when I first started with Jim's, Geelong, where I'm located, was split into 2 regions.
Yep.
There was South Geelong and North Geelong, and because of where I was living at the time, I thought just logistically I would be better buying in the South region. Even though I knew Ben was in the North, I thought I would. Anyway, I bought in the South, and so I think it was Mark Richmond was the franchisor at the time, and so me and him probably didn't get along possibly as well as what I would have with Ben. I had a few issues with Mark. I ended up moving over to Ben's region after a couple of years of being with Jim's, and I was really glad I did. Look, I mean, now Ben's looks after the whole of Geelong himself. But in hindsight, once again about hindsight, I wish I had bought in Ben's region to start off with. And my father-in-law at the time, he looked into a Jim's about 2.5 years later after I bought my first business, and he bought one through Ben. And he's still going as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've met so it's your father-in-law still got the gyms Mowing. Okay, that's
Well,
great.
it's not my father-in-law anymore.
Oh, sorry, I should have picked that up on that. Yeah,
But yeah, so
amazing.
yeah, but he's still going too, and
Awesome.
he's getting on. But I think he enjoys it, and still see the Jim's trailer at the front of his place. And still see him on the road occasionally. But yeah, so he's still going. That's good.
Well, you brought up a great point then, Steve, and it's not to disparage the other franchisor, but people in gyms might not be aware, but you can change franchisor if you need to, and that's something that Jim quite often says at training. If they're not happy with your franchisor, you think you want to go to another region or whatever, it's something that people can do. So I'm glad you mentioned that point. It's because it's something that probably is not as known well in gyms, and I think it is unique that if the other franchisor is happy to have a franchisee, people can just shift over, and there's always personality differences or whatever it is. So I'm glad you brought that up, Stephen. That's fantastic.
Yeah, look, I don't know what it was with Mark, but yeah, I just probably didn't really gel with him from the get-go. But yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great thing to point out to people because you're not just stuck with the franchisor, you can change. I'm glad you brought that up and you did that as well. So with the support anyway from the franchisor, what sort of things do you go to Ben for, or what was it about the support in that region? Was it just more just the calls, or was it the meetings, or what was it from your point of view?
Yeah, he was just a lot more proactive. You know, look, at the time, I was still fairly new into the business. I'd probably only been with it, you know, a couple of years on that sort of thing. So I had the business built up to a certain degree, but, you know, there were still weeks there where I didn't have a full diary, and I'd get Ben a call and he'd go, mate, you can go and do some DHS work and that sort of stuff, and flip me a couple of jobs if I needed it and that sort of thing. So, you know, there was work availability, which I never really felt like I got that from Mark, and I probably now needed more of a help in the earlier stages.
Yeah.
I didn't really felt like I got that from Mark. So yeah, it was refreshing to go to the other side and see the way I worked with Ben and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, he always checks in, always, you know, gives me a call every couple of weeks to see how things are going. Like, even still, you know, like I'm not down for leads or, but, you know, he still checks in and that sort of stuff, which is really good. And, you know, with 100 blokes in Geelong or something, it's, that would keep him on his toes, and that's sort of
Absolutely. Yeah.
And a lot of new guys starting and that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, look, I couldn't speak any more highly of Ben. And look, thinking of that, in 2022, I think it was in September, I had a bit of an accident at home where I had a fight with an angle grinder.
Oh wow!
And the angle grinder won. So I actually severed a tendon in my hand.
Oh geez.
In my thumb, and it was the start of spring. And I remember calling Ben from, I think either from the hospital or just as I left the hospital, after sort of being told that I was thinking, you know, the kids have broken their leg and that sort of stuff, like 6 weeks recovery. Even that during springtime is devastating to, you know, a small business or whatever. So I was really worried, you know. And it wasn't until I went and had the surgery done on the Monday, thinking that I'm going to be out for 6 weeks. The surgeon, after he stitched me up, he goes, mate, you're going to need 10 to 12 weeks to recover from this.
Jeez.
So that's 3 months of the busiest time of the year for me.
Mm.
So I gave Ben a call, and he got straight on board. He did say straight up, he goes, mate, this time of year, I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to cover with your clients because everyone's flat out, you know what I mean? But he shot me through 3 or 4 guys' phone numbers, and yes, give them a call. And so there was 4 guys in Geelong. You know, I will name them because I really want to thank these guys as well. So it was Andrew Stretton, Mark Logan, Steve Collar, and Jason Armistead. So they're all local franchisees during the busiest time of the year. So Andrew and Mark took on the bulk of my work. They probably took maybe 20, 30, maybe more clients each on top of their already busy schedules. And Steve and Jason did a couple of jobs in the areas that they were sort of, their territories were. So basically those guys looked after my entire business for the 3 months while I was off work. And when I was good to go again, they just handed the clients back to me, and off I went back on my merry way. I think I maybe lost 3 or 4 customers over that 3 month period, you know.
Amazing.
Where it wasn't saying, and you know, look, I remember thinking to myself, look, if I was working for myself, I'd be stuffed, because I don't know anyone that knows someone that's going to be as reliable as you, that's basically out of work, willing to take on 3 months full-time work at the drop of a hat and take on your, the business that you built up for 8 years and look after it as well as you have, for you to be able to return to that business after the 3-month period. So I just remember thinking how, what a great system Jim's is. And, people talk about the support and that sort of stuff. But I mean, these 4 guys really stepped up for me. And, I'm still going now probably because of half, the effort that these guys put in while I was sitting home doing hand exercises, for my thumb to recover. So, the whole gym system with support and the network and everything is really amazing.
That's amazing, Steve. Thanks for sharing that. And well done to the boys. I actually remember meeting Mark at the trade day. I know his sons are really good swimmers. I remember meeting them at the trade day. Yeah. So he's a lovely person.
Yep. Mark was fantastic coming out here and got all the clients for him. And my computer skills aren't great. And, all I had was all my clients handwritten down on paper. And he's going, can't you shoot me through a spreadsheet? I go, well, I don't know how to do that. I'm sure he's super organised with whatever he does. But, I just was like taking photos of, A4 bits of paper that I had all.
Nothing wrong with the diary. I know Jim's always going about Jim's jobs and stuff, but I know there's a lot.
Like Jim formatise, like for invoicing and that, but I pretty much still schedule through my diary.
Nothing wrong with that. A lot of the likes do. I know Jim's always going about the app, but this.
The trouble with the computer tonight, not being able to log on and that sort of stuff, and then the meeting comes up and the Zoom issue that I had was out of date, so that had to update again. So that was another.
Yeah. Now I was going to say that, like, a lot of new franchisees listen to this podcast. And you've outlined some great advice there, but looking back on your journey, like, starting again, or is there any things like any tips or any advice you would give to just other lawn mowing contractors in general who listen? What's some advice from your perspective of being in the business for 10 years? Like, is there some tricks or some tips that you would wish you'd known at the start, or what would you say to someone maybe looking at the industry or maybe just started in the industry?
Just really, really talk to the guys that you meet in the franchise, that sort of stuff. Really take note of your training with whoever you go out with. Because I don't know if the training with gyms has changed, but we didn't do any mowing or whippersnipping or anything. I sort of thought when I went to do the 6-day training that would be a part of it, like they'd be teaching us how to hedge and that sort of stuff, but there wasn't, it was sort of just go out and do it. There was lots of the business side of it and that sort of stuff, but I remember walking away and sort of thinking, well, okay, it was really helpful, but there was little things about, about using the equipment and that sort of stuff that you just sort of maybe a little bit thrown a little deep end.
Yeah.
So just when you do the training with whoever you go out with, just ask them everything, show them all the tools that you get them to give you a go on everything. Like make sure you buy good equipment and go out and use it. Like even if before you start trimming a customer's hedge, go out and trim your mum and dad's with your equipment before, get some practice in. I was, of course, when I thought about buying the gyms, I was really started looking after my own lawn and that sort of stuff. I'd always mowed the lawn, that sort of stuff, but you try to do the edges really well and that sort of thing. But you sort of have to just learn that yourself. No one really shows it.
Yeah.
But that would probably be the only thing.
Yeah. It's I think because with, it's a good comment because we do get that sometimes at the end of the surveys, we have people who say it'd be good to have hands-on training. I think there's some insurance issue or something like that. So sometimes you have 30 guys and then 40, and I don't know what the go is with that. I know they might be looking at it again, but also I think everyone's got different styles as well. So it's one of those things where someone has the up near the year, then you have the other guy who walks forward, then you have the other guy who works back. So it's sort of, there's all these different styles and techniques you can do.
You do. You just have your own sort of way of doing it. But everyone will find something that's comfortable with them.
And what gear do you recommend? Like, what equipment do you use in your business?
Well, I was still for a long time.
Yep.
I was nearly going to buy a Honda everything, and the bloke that I said that had been doing gyms for 15 years or whatever, my mate, he rang me up the night before I'd pretty much gone and purchased everything. And he goes, what are you going to buy? And I go, well, I'm buying all this other stuff. And he goes, nah. I'd already gone into mowers galore and got a quote for everything. I was pretty much going to go and pick it up the next day. And he knew the guy that owned the steel shop in Drysdale at the time. He goes, come down and see him. And I ended up buying all steel equipment, which I loved for many, many years. But just recently I've sort of converted over to battery stuff.
Okay.
And I bought all the Ego equipment, which I'm pretty happy with. I think it's really good. I've still got the Honda mower and, a Greenfield rider. I don't think the mowers are quite there yet for what we need, unless I had like 15 batteries. And at $700 a piece, I think I'll wait until the technology's a bit better.
It seems to be, I'm glad you said it. It seems to be the go. Like a lot of the franchisees are half and half, or they use some battery, but they always still use the petrol, HRU Honda or something like that.
Yeah, the Hondas are good. Yeah. That's pretty much, I think I've got 5 of them now over the 10 years. So
I'm glad you're using the battery gear because it is great. It's really like the Ego stuff. I actually use a bit at home myself, and I do like the edge trimmer and the other things as well. The hedging stuff really good.
Yeah, look, I think the gear's fantastic. The Ego stuff, yeah, it's really good. Very impressed with the hedge trimmers, but the blower is I'm a little bit disappointed with because it seems to drain a battery in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's 15 or 10 minutes depending on the setting you've got.
Yeah. So I think I still need to keep the 2-stroke one for wet days, when the grass is stuck to all the concrete and that sort of stuff. And when you've got a really big, long grass with lots of cleanup, the battery power just doesn't really do it. You need something that's going to, keep going for much longer than 10 minutes.
Now, in your business, Stephen, what sort of services are you offering? Are you doing the full gamut? Are you doing landscaping? Are you doing hedges? Or what are you doing in your business for customers?
I pretty much do everything. A little bit of landscaping, but not too much. Like I don't have any Vermeer diggers or anything like that. So I'm not leveling and excavating people's backyards or anything like that. But I have done quite a bit of landscaping, a few houses and new builds and that sort of stuff. So, but the thing is, it's tough to fit it in when you've got a busy schedule already. Yeah, you can sort of fit those jobs in wintertime when you haven't got too much going on. But if someone wants you to do some landscaping in springtime, struggle having 4 or 5 days where you can spend nearly a week in someone's property, and you're not going to be looking after your regular customers if you're landscaping for other people. I think I think you really need to choose one or the other as to what you're going to do. I think if you lean too much to the landscaping side, you're going to move away from the mowing, and you're not going to be servicing your customers regularly because you're probably going to make more money from the landscaping, I would assume, and you're probably just going to let your regular customers fall behind a little bit because you've got more important things to do or whatever. So I reckon it's either one or the other. You kind of got to focus on, I think. So look, my main bread and butter is lawn mowing and garden maintenance and hedging and that sort of stuff, and spraying, and I do the occasional gutters and that sort of stuff. Bit of ride-on mowing, fairly varied sort of thing. But I like what I do, and I enjoy it. Being in the outdoors, even on a horrible day. You look back to working in the factory and that sort of stuff. Or whatever. And like I've had customers come out and go, "You are crazy," you know what I mean, working in weather like this. But the thing is, if it's forecast to rain for a whole week, there's no guarantee if you put them off till next week, the weather's going to be any better. So, sometimes you just got to grin and bear it and get in there and get the job done. It might take a bit longer, and it might not be that pleasant, but it's still a lot. I can still honestly jump in the car and smile when I'm saturated and just think that, I'm happy that I'm doing this, even on terrible days. So.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. And the fitness benefits of the franchise, like I know we have a lot of guys come in and I interview them 6 months later and they've lost 20 kilos or something like that. Just the fitness and just the mental health when you're outside, you're in the environment like that. It's just amazing what it can do. Yeah, look, for sure. I think my phone tracks, a lot of your progress and that sort of stuff. And I think Christmas week, I think I did 65 Ks and 130,000 steps. Gee whiz, that's a lot. That was in 4 days, I think. So 4 days, that's amazing. That's walking around with a brush cutter and we're pushing a lawnmower, from here to Melbourne, basically from Geelong. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing. Yeah.
yeah, you sort of look back at the week and you go, geez, that is a fair bit, you know. But touching on the battery powered stuff as well. So I'm also an asthmatic, and so I think the fumes from the two stroke and that sort of stuff. And like you said, when you're hedge trimming and you've got you're doing the knife edging, that sort of stuff, and the machine's right in front of your face. You know, you're breathing in two stroke fumes, for a couple of hours a day. I think my asthma and my health has improved. I'm sort of stepping away from and moving into the battery powered. You know, there's no fumes, so I think it's much healthier as well. It's not only good for the environment, but it's good for your body, I think too.
That's a great point. And a lot of guys I met as well who've been doing it for like 15 years, they have the sometimes RSI, just doing the hedger with the big, the big pole attachment with the like the heavy Honda, and they've made the switch over, and their wrists feel a lot better. And the RSI component sometimes in here, when they've gone from that switch, it's a massive difference for them. And longevity wise, it's a really good option to go.
Yeah, the gear is definitely light up.
Yeah,
and there's less problems with it too. So it's a win-win. Yeah,
absolutely. And is it just you working in the business, or have you ever taken employees or anything? Or
I've never had anyone help me. I just do everything myself. But sometimes I take on jobs that are probably a bit too much for one bloke, but I seem to get them done. I was doing a job, a big clean-up job for this company, and in Corio last week or the week before, and the grass was long. I mowed the property about a year ago, and it hasn't been mowed since.
Oh wow!
And they rang me up again. They go, "Can you go up with this fellow's lawns?" And the next door neighbour comes out and he goes, "Are you doing this by yourself?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you got any help?" So I go, "Nah, it's just me, mate." He goes, "Geez, that's a big job for you." I go, "Oh well." I said, the right on mower makes light work of it, but yeah, it hadn't been mowed in, I think it was 9 months.
Wow, how high was it?
It was waist high.
Waist high.
Yeah.
Jeez. So how do you tackle it? Like, just out of interest, like I'm a pretty layman with this sort of stuff. How would you tackle a job like that, just from a quoting point of view, or what's the process for that? How you would tackle it?
So look, I pretty much knew how long it was going to take me, and it did take me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I sort of figured 2 hours max with the ride-on mower. So it was just a residential block. So it was just a nature strip, small front yard, and a fairly large backyard. It was all kaiku, and it was thick and it was long. But half of the garden, half of the backyard is sectioned off with rocks. So you couldn't use the ride-on mower for all of it. Had I been able to do that, it probably would have taken me an hour. So there was a fair bit of whipper setting. It's a lot slower, and so that took up a bit of time in the job. But I think I quoted $375, and it was done in about a bit over an hour and a half, hour and three quarters.
Yeah.
They were happy with that. I was happy with that. Yeah, it was hard work, but there's good money to be earned, if you quote right. I knew just by looking at it that I could, like the ride-on mower could handle it, and I could do it in under 2 hours. So I knew it was going to be a bit tough. So the price was up there. Look, the company was happy with it. The customer was happy, and now they want me to do it regularly. So they don't have this problem again in 12 months, I think. So.
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, horticulture. How does horticulture work in your business? Are you doing horticulture yourself, or have you done a certificate over the years?
I did the online one through the Jim's thing at the Kagan Institute.
Yep.
Did over 2 years, certificate 2 and 3. And it's helped heaps, mainly with plant identification and a little bit of just knowledge around trees and that sort of stuff, and a little bit of landscaping knowledge as well. Like I built a couple of retaining walls around my house, and after doing the course, realised that they probably won't build quite up to spec. There's no drainage. Put the membrane up behind the timber, so it's probably going to rot out after. Luckily, it's at my place and not a customer's house, so if I have to do those sorts of things next time, I know how to do it properly now. So they even touched on with things like paving and weed spraying, and the rates that you need to mix, and times and that sort of stuff. Like spraying the lawn, someone's backyard. I always thought it was sort of based on how many litres, but apparently it's got more to do with the flow rate through the sprayer. You can count how much is coming out, and basically the time that you're in the backyard. So
yeah. And I was going to say, with the plant identification part, is it more so that, like, obviously, so you know what to use, but like you go into a customer's house and if they're a passionate gardener or put a bit of time in the garden, you can instantly sort of just go, oh, I can see you've got this there, or I've got this there, or that sort of thing.
Yep. They know straight away if you can name a couple of plants. Look, obviously I'm not Don Berg, after doing 2 6-month courses or something. I can't name every plant. There's quite a lot that I know, even just over the years, talking with customers, they'll be talking about their plants. So you pick up on that, and then the horticulture as well. It definitely helps, and I think it's probably scored me a few more clients than maybe I would have. Like obviously some customers are very particular about their gardens. They spend a lot of money and a lot of time to get it to where it is, and they want someone that knows what they're talking about when they come in. So if you can, when you're walking through the yard with them, you can, say, that's whatever that is over there, and talk to them about their plants and give them a little bit of info, about when they flower or when they need to be pruned and that sort of stuff. And I think it really helps for the business. So
absolutely,
I did it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, what are you boys seeing in the business with yourself working? Do they come out with you sometimes, or do they?
I've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're probably a little young yet. So maybe in a couple of years, the older one might start to come out with me, but they're quite sort of fixated on their screens, that sort of stuff.
Well, there's a lawn mowing simulator video game, so you might have to get him on the lawn, obviously.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jim hasn't got on board with one of them yet.
Oh, we've got him on one of the head office, but we got him on a big computer set up, lawn mowing simulator, but he was cutting the flowers down and would have got 50 complaints, so he hasn't jumped back on since. But there's some games for kids with lawn mowing simulator. It's actually quite popular. There's a massive community online for lawn simulators, so if they're ever interested in computer games, there might be one you can shift them towards.
Yeah, okay. That might be good practice before I get them out on the job, yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure that'd be better than Jim. I was going to say as well, with the, you don't have to go into financials, but just people sort of sometimes feel outside of Jim's mowing or just gyms in general they won't think that a cleaning franchisee or a mowing guy can make, a comparative sort of income, let's say to a corporate job. So you don't have to say how much you earn, but over the years, have you been happy with the money you've been making in terms of, with what it allows you in terms of flexibility and how the business income has been for you?
100%. Yeah, very. Like I said, I'm a single dad, and I don't have really any problems with money. Like I said, when I was in retail and that sort of stuff, it was quite often week to week. So I know what it's like to sort of live from paycheck to paycheck, and I've done that before and been there, many years ago. But I don't really have any worries with money anymore. I earn a really good living, and like I said, with the ride-on job that I quoted, I would say basically I earn about $100 an hour on average. That's pretty much. So if I do a big day in springtime and that sort of stuff, it's $1,000 day. Just mowing or whatever, just general cleanups. And so when I've got the kids, I also do a school drop off and pick up. So for that week, I only work 5 or 6 hours a day. And then the following week, I'll do really big days, 10, 12-hour days in springtime, maybe 8, 9-hour days in winter to make up the bulk of the work. So I have one pretty small week that would sort of be considered maybe a part-time job, and then a full-time job the following week. So when you look at, I'm only working 25, 30 hours a week and still earning probably $2.5 grand for that sort of hours, $500-600 a day for working 5 or 6 hours. I think it's amazing, and I'm more than happy with the money I earn and the lifestyle that it gives me and the kids and that sort of stuff. So the income's unlimited, really. Like I said, I'm kind of limited to how much work I can do because of the way I have the kids and the way it's set up that that I do the school drop off and pick up. I can't really grow my business in that week because I can only do so much work, and in springtime, then the other week is really busy. Another thing about being a single parent is I have 2 weekends a month with my kids, and I have a partner that I have 2 weekends a month with. So I don't work weekends. It's Monday to Friday for me. I don't want to sacrifice my 2 weekends for my kids, and I don't want to sacrifice 2 weekends with my partner either, because that's all I get with them. So it's Monday to Friday. Quite often I'll take a Monday off as well. So it might only be 4 days a week. So I reckon for the hours that I put in and what I get out of it, I do really, really well.
That's great to hear. Now, it's really great to hear. And I want to point it out because when I do a lot of these interviews, I'm always interviewing franchisees with multiple staff. So it's great to have someone who's optimized the business with its potential as a sole trader, yet can have all that family life and that lifestyle around, and you make it work for around you, yet still do really well, which is fantastic to hear for people.
That's awesome. Like, the flexibility and being able to, like today, I probably should have worked today. I took today off and went and played golf and went head bowling with the younger son. And it's his last week of school holidays.
Yeah.
And I don't want to palm him off to mum and dad for the full 5 days. So, he'll be going tomorrow, but we went and had some fun today. And the rest of the week is going to be busier because I took today off. But I'm in a position where I can do that. And so it was nice, and not many jobs will let you do that,
Definitely. Definitely not.
Or something, but you can't do that too often,
Definitely not.
You still got to go to the doctors, and get a certificate. So
you do. And I was going to say as well with the business itself, how's the body been holding up over the 10 years? Because it's a physical job, and you work obviously extremely hard with the amount of steps you're saying. So how have you found the body over the years up the journey?
Pretty good. Yeah, no issues so far. Touch wood. But look, I'm 50 this year. Yeah, 50 this year. So not a spring chicken. No, look, I find once, like, even after a 10, 12-hour day of mowing all day, I could probably mow another couple of lawns. Wow. But yeah, I get home, as soon as I sit down, I'm stuffed. Like, but I could keep going if I wanted, I reckon. But the minute you stop is when it sort of hits you, I think. You can't stop because you've got to cook dinner for the kids or something, So, I reckon I'm holding up pretty good, and definitely got another 10 or 15 years in me. I reckon maybe 20. Who knows?
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, we do have franchisees going into their 80s. We've got some guys up north. I know started at 79. This guy called Jeff, and he's 81, 80 now. He's up in Cairns. So yeah, he's smart though. He gets everyone else to do the jobs for him. He's just the boss man. He just gets local people to help him out. But he's it's a great business for someone for older or for just longevity. Like I've met some franchisees who've been with gyms for 30, 25 years, and it's amazing how young they look. I remember meeting a guy who was 65, and I thought he's like 50. It was unbelievable because he's been here for 25 years. He's out in the sun. He's exercising every day. He's just trimmers or anything. It's just an amazing business for someone longevity-wise with mental health, with fitness. It's just a really, really good career option for anyone to choose.
Another thing I've seen, from a lot of elderly customers and that sort of stuff, the ones that are active are the ones that seem to live longer and happier and the more active and I don't know the word to say, but the ones that are more active, more physical, seem to last longer, I suppose. So doing a job like this, I think will benefit me in future years from being so active. And
I think it will, because there's a lot of books and there's a lot of money and stuff around longevity and how you can have a longer health span. And all the stuff like exercise and social interactions, interaction with customers, and all that sort of stuff. It's got everything inside the business, and it's a fantastic. If people are health conscious, we don't really do as much of a benefit about being a franchisee. But if you are a bit more health conscious and you want to have a really long health span and stuff, I think doing the route you're doing is a fantastic way to go.
Yeah, that's good. Fresh air, bit of sunshine. As long as you slap and that sort of stuff. I've got the 1 foot tan in between my shorts, so we go to Adventure Park and the kids say that I've got my white socks on, Cause, it's a bit funny, but
absolutely. Well, no worries, Stephen. Well, on that, how old you for nearly an hour, but thank you very much for joining us today. On behalf of the Gym School, we're going to give you this a call silver membership on the left. I know you don't use computers, but it's going to come via email, and you have to create an account online. It's not a scam. So you create an account online. It's a digital card, and what it gives you is 2 free nights at any of 4+ hotel in the world, and you get like 50% of dining and all that sort of stuff. So it's actually a really good thing. It's worth around $600. So I'll get that to you after this. It comes via email in 5 to 6 days, and that's on behalf of the gym and the Gym Scoop for being a great franchisee over the years. So If that doesn't come to you, email me back and let me know in around a week or two. But on behalf of Jim's, we'll give you those as well. So hopefully you and the boys can enjoy that.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
No worries. Thanks, Stevie. Thank you very much for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Likewise, Joel. Cheers.
No worries. See you, mate. Bye. Thank you for listening to the episode of the More Than Just Mowing podcast by Jim's Mowing. If you do need help with your local gardening expert, please give us a call on 131 546 for Australia, 0800 454 654 for New Zealand, or head to jimsmowing.com.au or jimsmowing.co.nz. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to leave us a review as well, wherever you consume your podcast. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.